Hey, this is Richard with my list of the best baseball playing actors in cinematic history. This list is mostly based on the eye test. Does the actor throw the ball and/or swing the bat convincingly? Other factors considered are the size of the role, the quality and success of the movie, and the actor's overall body of work. So without further ado, here's the list. Number 10 on the list goes to D.B. Sweeney for his portrayal of Shoeless Joe Jackson in 8 Men Out, John Sayles' 1988 movie about the Chicago Black Sox scandal.
Say it ain't so, Joe.
Like others on this list, Sweeney grew up wanting to be a baseball player. The story goes that a knee injury he sustained in a motorcycle accident ended his dream, but he did get to show off his baseball skills in this movie. His performance is doubly impressive because he was, and presumably still is, a right-handed batter who had to hit from the opposite side to play Shoeless Joe. I thought his swings were very convincing. Sweeney appeared in several other sports movies, most notably The Cutting Edge, in which he portrayed an ex-hockey player who becomes a pairs figure skater. But 8 Men Out remains the only movie in which he got to flash his baseball prowess. Number 9 on the list is Scott Patterson for his performance as pitcher Mike McGreevy in 1994's Little Big League, a movie about a kid who inherits the Minnesota Twins baseball team and takes over as manager. Patterson had a long and distinguished career as a pitcher in the minor leagues and got very close to making it to the show before turning to acting. Little Big League was his feature film debut. It may not be the greatest baseball movie ever made, but it had perhaps the foremost cast of baseball players, as described in this video from a channel called Baseball's Not Dead. Patterson has had a prolific acting career, including 7 years on the Gilmore Girls, a couple of Saw movies, and a role as Elaine's sponge-worthy guy friend in Seinfeld. He didn't do any other baseball movies, although in 1997 he played a ball player in Arliss, the HBO sports comedy starring Robert Wuhl. The number 8 spot on the list goes to Stephen Bishop.
Something's telling me it might be you.
No, not that Stephen Bishop. This guy, who portrayed all-star outfielder David Justice in Bennett Miller's 2005 film Moneyball. Bishop played minor league baseball, and his skills served him well in this role as a savvy, seen-it-all veteran who joins the lowly A's at the tail end of his career. His big scene takes place in an indoor batting cage where Brad Pitt, playing A's general manager Billy Beane, tries to convince him to be more of a mentor to the younger players on the team. David Justice has said that this scene is pure fiction. Apparently he was tight with Billy Beane in real life and served as Beane's assistant the year after he retired. Nevertheless, Bishop gives a credible performance and flashes one of the best left-handed swings you'll ever see in a baseball movie. He also had a supporting role 2 years earlier in a much more obscure baseball film called The Pitcher and the Pinup, alternatively titled The Road Home. I have not seen this movie, but you can spot Bishop in the trailer. Number 7 on the list is Tom Selleck for his portrayal of slugger Jack Elliott in the 1992 film Mr. Baseball. Selleck was quite an athlete as a young man. He played baseball and basketball at the University of Southern California before leaving school to pursue acting. He was 47 when Mr. Baseball came out, and at that point his swing was a bit arthritic, but it worked for the character, a former New York Yankees first baseman trying to extend his career in Japan. Selleck is a longtime Detroit Tigers fan. He took batting practice with the team at the old Briggs Stadium and hit one over the fence in right. He's also one of the rare actors who batted in an actual Major League spring training game. Billy Crystal and Will Ferrell are the other two that I know of. Selleck had the best at-bat of the three as he fouled off several pitches before striking out swinging on a nasty changeup. I decided to reserve the number 6 spot on this list for a few kid actors who gave convincing performances as baseball players in movies. First up is Jackie Earle Haley as the talented troublemaker Kelly Leak in 1976's The Bad News Bears, and the 2 sequels, The Bad News Bears in Breaking Training and The Bad News Bears Go to Japan. Kelly Leak was pivotal to the first film because he is the one who propels the misfit Bears into championship contention. The actor had to be convincing as a ball player, and Jackie Earle Haley was, from the moment he throws an errant ball back into the field while Coach Buttermaker, played by Walter Matthau, looks on. Haley took a hiatus from acting after the Bears films before returning to great acclaim and an Oscar nomination for his work in Little Children. He was also featured in big movies like Watchmen and Steven Spielberg's Lincoln, but he never did another baseball movie after the Bears' run was over. The second young actor on the list is Sammy Kane Kraft, the wunderkind pitcher in Richard Linklater's 2005 remake of The Bad News Bears. Kraft took the role of the talented pitcher Amanda Wurlitzer that was played by Tatum O'Neal in the original. Now, Tatum O'Neal was a tough act to follow. She won an Oscar at age 10 for her film debut in Paper Moon, and she remains the youngest Oscar winner ever. And Bad News Bears was her follow-up just 3 years later. But she had limitations as a baseball player. In the Bad News Bears remake, Richard Linklater wanted a more convincing pitcher for the Amanda Wurlitzer role, and he found one in Sammy Kane Kraft. She could bring it. She had a little bit of a Max Scherzer snap to her pitches. Supposedly, she threw a 75-mile-an-hour fastball at the movie's casting call. During her teen years, she shifted her focus to music before her life was tragically cut short when she was killed in a car accident in Los Angeles at age 20. The last kid actor in this spot is Mike Vitar as Benjamin Benny the Jet Rodriguez in 1993's The Sandlot, a much-loved baseball movie about some kids who spend the summer playing games at the title location. Benny the Jet was a key part of this movie, as he was supposed to be the star player who goes on to glory with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and Vitar delivered a convincing performance. Interestingly, Mike Vitar's older brother Pablo played the grown-up version of Benny, who steals home for the Dodgers at the end of the film. Mike Vitar continued acting for a short time after The Sandlot. He did 2 Mighty Ducks movies and had a cameo in the Sandlot sequel, but he was out of the business before age 20 and works today as a firefighter. Now we're down to the top 5. The number 5 guy is a veteran of 4 baseball movies, the most of anyone on this list. He is Dennis Haysbert, the towering veteran of stage and screen who played the highly superstitious Cuban slugger Pedro Serrano in all 3 Major League movies, the 1989 original, the 1994 sequel, and 1998's Major League Back to the Minors. He was also in 1992's Mr. Baseball. In an interview with Rich Eisen, Haysbert said that he routinely hit home runs during the Major League shoot at Milwaukee County Stadium, which stood in for Cleveland Stadium in the movie. Some people were unhappy that they didn't cast a Latino actor for this role, but I thought Haysbert, with his deep voice, commanding stature, and most importantly, convincing right-handed swing, did a great job. The next actor was a top movie star who only did 1 baseball film, but it was memorable enough to earn him the number 4 spot on the list. It's Robert Redford as the mysterious slugger Roy Hobbs in Barry Levinson's 1984 film The Natural. Redford was a good baseball player growing up in Southern California. He played high school ball with future Dodgers pitcher Don Drysdale, who himself did some acting, including an appearance in a 1970 episode of The Brady Bunch. Redford purportedly got a scholarship to play baseball at the University of Colorado. The story goes that he went there and partied a lot and dropped out within a couple of years. He moved to New York a few years later, started getting parts and his career took off. The Roy Hobbs role was challenging because Redford was playing a guy who starts out as a pitcher in the 1920s, gets shot, and then returns 16 years later as a slugging outfielder. He was 46 at the time of shooting, a little old for a major leaguer, but he could pass for a guy in his late 30s, and he certainly swung the bat with authority. Supposedly, he modeled his swing for the movie after Ted Williams, and it said he hit some balls into the upper deck at Buffalo's War Memorial Stadium, where much of the action was filmed. The Natural may have been Redford's only baseball movie, but it was a memorable one, earning 4 Oscar nominations and a reputation as one of the best baseball movies ever made. Number 3 is a guy who, coincidentally, did 3 baseball movies and is certainly one of the most convincing pitchers in baseball movie history. It's Charlie Sheen, best known for playing the renegade closer Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn in 1989's Major League and its sequel, Major League 2, released 5 years later. Sheen also played center fielder Happy Felsch in 8 Men Out. Felsch was one of the White Sox players who took a bribe to throw the 1919 World Series. Sheen was a very good high school baseball player in Santa Monica, good enough to have played in college, but he went into acting instead and quickly achieved success with starring roles in 2 of the best movies of the 1980s, Platoon and Wall Street. There are stories that Sheen's fastball reached the 90s on the radar gun. I don't know about that, but he was convincing enough as a pitcher that director David Ward could shoot him in wide shots with no editing, no need for a baseball double. Sheen didn't do another baseball movie after Major League 2, but he made baseball news in 1996 when he purchased an entire section in left field at Angels Stadium, 2,500 seats in all, so that he and his friends could catch a home run ball. And of course, nobody hit one out there the entire game. Number 2 is an actor who delivered one of the best performances as a baseball player in movie history, a performance that captured the swagger and competitiveness of a top athlete. And he did it while sporting one of the great mustaches of the genre. It's Tyler Hoechlin as McReynolds, the college All-American in Richard Linklater's 2016 movie Everybody Wants Some. Hoechlin started acting early in life, and he got a big role in 2002 as the son of Tom Hanks's gangster character Michael Sullivan in Road to Perdition. Despite his acting success, Hoechlin wanted to play baseball. He even turned down a major role in the Twilight film series to play college ball, first at Arizona State University and then at the University of California in Irvine. Richard Linklater knew he had to cast a good baseball player for the McReynolds role, and he got one in Hoechlin. He has several pivotal scenes in the movie, including one where he chops baseballs in half with an axe, and another where he smokes one over the right field fence off of hotshot pitcher Jay Niles, one of the most annoying characters in film history. Hoechlin did one other baseball movie. It was called Undrafted and was about amateur ball players in a summer league. He played a pitcher in that movie. It was released the same year as Everybody Wants Some, but it's not nearly as well remembered. That brings us to the number 1 baseball-playing actor in cinematic history. This man needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyways. He's done 3 baseball movies. He's played a pitcher and a catcher. He's batted from the left side and the right side. He is, of course, Kevin Costner. Costner starred as minor league slugger Crash Davis in Ron Shelton's 1989 movie Bull Durham. 1 year later, he played Iowa farmer Ray Kinsella in Field of Dreams, and he finished the trifecta with a role as aging pitcher Billy Chappell in Sam Raimi's 1999 film For the Love of the Game. Costner's career has eerie parallels with that of Robert Redford, the number 4 guy on this list. Both grew up in Southern California, both played high school ball with future major leaguers, pitcher Dennis Burt in Costner's case. Both became heartthrob leading men, directed Oscar-winning movies, but Costner definitely built a deeper body of work in the baseball genre. And in Bull Durham, he delivered maybe the best performance as a baseball player of all time. A quick note on the list. The oldest movie cited here is 1976's The Bad News Bears. Obviously, baseball movies were being made for decades before that, so this list might smack of recency bias, but I think it's fair to say that modern directors are more scrupulous than the directors of the distant past when it comes to depicting athletes in movies. Back in the day, you could cast a big star like Gary Cooper in 1942's Pride of the Yankees, even though Cooper was not a baseball player. You just shoot around it. Or you'd have William Bendix play the title role in 1948's The Babe Ruth Story, despite the fact that he couldn't bat left-handed. So they filmed him batting right-handed and flopped the film or made a mirror image of it so it looked like he was batting lefty. To do that, they had to stitch the Yankees name onto his uniform backwards so that it read correctly in the mirror image. I don't think that would be done today. If you disagree with any of this, if you think I put someone undeserving on the list or omitted someone, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.